Story number 3. The title is Getting Lost. The narrative recounts of reflective and emotional journey taken by a group of 6 close friends, Davi, Seka, Afif, Munir, Dwi, and I, who planned simple yet meaningful camping trip to Bukit Cempoko in Pacet, Mojokerto. They had discussed this idea for months, envisioning a peaceful escape from the city life and academic pressures. Not a grand adventure but short trip to reconnect with nature and each other. After much delay, they finally made the plan reality on Monday, May 12th. On the morning of their departure, there was a shared sense of excitement. They had prepared everything carefully, rented tents, packed food, and barbecue equipment, and even Relax and Sega helped with organizing. They met the host in the Gresik around 5 p.m. Around travel on the motorbikes, the Pacet. As they rode further from the city into the highlands, the atmosphere changed, the traffic quieted, and the air grew cold, and their minds began to settle. It was exactly the escape they had hoped for. At 7 p.m., they reached Post 1, the parking areas before the hike the campsites. A light fog was setting as they transferred their gear to backpacks and prepared for the short trek up the hill. Before ascending, they stood together and said a quiet prayer for safety, emphasizing the significance of the moment. The hike itself was moderate, just enough to make them sweat, and filled with laughter and shared jokes. When they arrived at the camping spot, it was already dark, surrounded by trees and grass, with only stars and the sound of nature around. They quickly set up two large tents, then started a campfire. The rest of the night was filled with warmth, both literally and emotionally. They barbecued sausages at the chicken, played music, told stories from the childhood, and laughed about a campus life. It was a perfect night that reflected their deep bond. However, around 1 p.m., something unexpected happened. Dewey, one of the friends, said he needed to go down to parking area to use the toilet, as he was uncomfortable doing in the woods. Despite their offers to accompany him, he insisted on going alone. They watched him leave with a flashlight in the hand, assuming he would be back shortly, but he did not return. Our pace and worry set in. The next morning, a thick fog covered the hill. The group hurriedly split their eyes puffy with exhaustion and concern. Dewey was now safely in the tent, but what had happened during the night still hung over them like a shadow. No one had the courage to bring it up yet. The narrator, sitting by cold remains of the fire, felt a strange unease not just from the fog, but from something deeper. Sega joined him with a cup of instant coffee and shared with them he had tried to search for using the different. In the Feldstock, he had been walking in circles despite of being struck trial. The air's experience confirmed the group sensed even something unusual had occurred. Eventually, Dewey emerged from the tent and apologized the mess. After a moment's silence, he shared of his story. Well, on the trail, they heard a fine voice calling him. One assumed belonged to a friend, but he was following it. He found himself on a familiar path. With no light or signs, lost a scar, he sat down and waited until the others found his constant groups. No one had called out to him the night. That idea that we may have been lured off the path by hallucination or something else was deeply unsettling. Without further discussion, they decided to pick up immediately. By 7 a.m., he had broken camp and began their descent silence. Walking in the single file, hyper over the surrounding the previously comforting fog, no match offering felt airy and unfamiliar. At around 9 a.m., they reached the parking lot, relieved to find the motorcycle still there. Right back to Gresik was quiet. No music, no jokes, just silent reflection. The event of the night had left a mark all of them. In the days followed, the narrative struggled with lingering anxiety and confusion that unworthy of everything seemed fine. Dewey was back. No one was hurt. There remained of sense instead of fear. Dewey had looked like a different person when they found him, distant and blank. The voice I followed did not belong to any of them. What had really happened back at campus? Dewey skipped 2 days of class. When the narrator finally saw him again, Dewey seemed better, a bit uncomfortable himself. They sat quietly at coffee stall, and Dewey asked a deep personal question. Have you ever felt lost, not on a bed, but in your own head? He confessed that his fear was not just about the characters being alone. His friend on his own talk. It was a moment emotional. The narrator reassured him, noting that despite the confusion, Dewey had found a way back his shine, his strengths. Dewey agreed but said that he no more question about he was listening to and believed but literally emotionally. The conversation caused the narrator no reflection, this young aspirant of feeling lost in not A few weeks later, the six friends gathered again, this time for dinner at Taffy House. The mood was later filled with laughter and jokes. Afiq proposed another camping trip, to which Dewey joked, but this time no one goes down alone in the middle of the night. Everyone agreed, highlighting how much closer they had become because the narrator began to see life differently. He started participating in new activities, including joining campus seminar committee, something he had. One day, he wrote everything down from this stop in collect to incident at Bukit Cempaka and realized how far he had come. He ended his school journal entry with a publication. We grew not only when we arrived, but when we dare to continue. In the final moment of peace, the